Hey guys, welcome to episode 25 of Hyperspace. We are a quarter away to the 100 episode special, whatever that's going to be.
Holy crap.
Yeah, what a perspective, but then also remembering this is weekly and there's 52 weeks in the year, so that'll be a big milestone if ever we hit that. But we got plenty of stuff today that I thought wasn't actually going to be a lot, but it is a lot. So as I thought I was going to tie this to around an hour mark, we're probably going to hit too much. But as joining us as always, we got Evan.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, we have a lot of news to talk about, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of rants possibly in the near future. So can't wait to talk about that. It's been a lot of stuff in the past 2 weeks, surprisingly. So can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
And also hosting a watch party, we have Carson.
Excited to be back for night 2 of the podcast. We did our cup of tea podcast last night and now this tonight. And yeah, I'm excited to be talking Star Wars. And like Nathan said, it seems like every week that we say we're like, oh, there's not that much. We'll be fine. And then we end up, going into a rant. Even on the other podcast, we started talking about Star Wars. We love Star Wars so much. It just happens. So yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so because I've completely thrown professionality out of the window on my channel, let me just say, this whole get-together was supposed to happen 2 hours ago.
We're just saying it, okay.
Yeah. Just just to give you my headspace of hosting this, there is quite a bit of show notes to go over that I have. And
they can't see that.
Also, my mindset is I was supposed to do some stuff today, didn't get to it. I haven't eaten today, so I have stuff to get to that. And I also, I know I have to shower for work tomorrow, and I'm working double tomorrow, so there's so many layers of things. And I got to get a certain amount of sleep, but I'm going to go with the show.
A certain amount.
Type 45. We got this.
Type 45.
45 minutes.
2 hours later.
That's fine. Even though it's not fresh in my head, this is the first thing of the day that I'm going to run over. We have the first official gameplay and set footage for Star Wars Squadrons that came out, which featured a slew of characters, including Harrison Dula, Wedge Antilles, and even Ray Sloan, which is really cool. What were your guys' thoughts on the initial look into Squadrons?
I'll go first. I saw the initial teaser. They came out with a story teaser on the last Tuesday or whatever. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty interesting. Looked pretty cool. Didn't know what to expect. But then 2 days later, we got the gameplay footage from EA Play. That was really the only interesting thing from EA Play, to be honest. But
hey, Skate 4 is coming. Do not let it die.
Everybody's hyped for Skate 4 besides me. I'm not. I could care less.
I haven't played Skate.
I never played it.
Tony Hawk. No.
But the gameplay looked very immersive. That's the biggest word there, because it's first person. People can play across all different platforms. It's cross-platform, which is very fun. I could play with my brother who uses his PC. That's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, it looks pretty cool. It's only $40, so you already know going in, it's not going to be as big as a $60 launch AAA title or whatever.
Yeah, when I hear that, I initially think, oh, it's a smaller game.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the story. I'm not expecting the story to be Last of Us or anything. I'm expecting this to be 4 to 6 hours long, probably as long as the Battlefront 2, right? Yeah. Some people were hoping it's going to be longer than Battlefront 2, but EA doesn't have a history of making story-fronted games. That's just not their thing for a lot of their titles. But the multiplayer here is the big ticket. There's 2 modes, right? There's the basic team deathmatch mode, but then there's the other mode, I forget what it's called, where you have to go to 3 different levels or 3 different parts of each map, try and protect either if you're Empire or if you're a Republic, try and protect their ships, whatever. The gameplay looks very fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the gameplay looks a lot of fun. It looks really cool. I don't know if I'll be getting this the day it drops, but if I see some good reviews, if I see a lot of my friends playing it, then I might just drop in $40 and play it.
If I'm not hugging my wallet, I'm sure I'll pick it up.
That's what I was say too. And
good point.
I think this will be a game because it comes out, releases October, correct?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after Lego Star Wars comes out.
Interesting. So yeah, this might be a Christmas pickup for me.
Same.
In terms of when I get on a winter break. Although I'll be getting on winter break after Thanksgiving this year because of all the pandemic, college shifting, and all that.
Same
stuff.
Here, yeah.
So it's gonna be a long winter break, and if I'm not working
much.
or doing whatever, I'll definitely pick this game up. It feels like that game that you can just like wake up on a Saturday morning and just kind of like pop on, play some team deathmatch. It seems very casual, but like in a good way. And I like that they're like kind of blending like, okay, you have this story, it's a $40 game. We know it's not going to be as ambitious as like something like The Last of Us or, those AAA titles. But at the same time, it's going to be a Star Wars adventure where you have some options to do different things. And at the same time, have a few multiplayer modes. And I'm really, I really liked what I saw from the gameplay. Like, I wasn't expecting like it to be the best thing in the world. Cause like, when those story trailers get you super hyped, you're like, oh my God, the graphics look amazing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get to the gameplay trailer and it like, you see what the actual interface is going to be like. But I was actually really impressed, and I'm really excited to play it. I think it's going to be kind of just a great little side quest from any main Star Wars game that comes out. So I think I'll be playing Lego Star Wars more, but I think this will be like the perfect refresher to put on, like when you are in between levels of Lego Star Wars.
Sure. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I'm trash at fighter combat in Battlefront. That's just how it is.
Okay.
But so especially putting me only in a first person mode where I can't see my surroundings. I'm really gonna have to like hone the turns and everything because it's gonna be crazy. But the inside cockpit is really cool, like how you like know your functionality of like what's available is actually
and that's exactly what you were like. I want this, and then 2 days later, and they just give like the little tutorial of like all the different things you can do. I was like, oh, Nathan predicted all of this.
Yeah. Like I know, like initially I'm gonna get it, I'm like, oh, it looks cool, and I'm gonna be like 20 minutes, and I'm like, I can't get anything.
Like, how do I go autopilot? Where's R2?
For real, like I'm just gonna be like getting so much assist. It's interesting just running through all the different stuff. It's I'm sure it'll be fun. It's interesting seeing these not new characters, but characters in a new live action setting. Like to see live action Hera is interesting because originally we only saw something like that on the Celebration mural this past year. But like to actually like legitimately see her, I don't know if they modeled her after Vanessa Marshall. I can't remember her face at the moment.
That's a good point. I'm not sure either, but seeing live action Hera, or at least live action in a video game setting, didn't they tease like a live action Hera coming like in one of the upcoming shows? I forget. There's so many live action characters.
That's the one character they did
coming up. Maybe yeah. Maybe
her and Zed, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, so she looks pretty cool. Seeing Race Alone there was pretty awesome. I love Race Alone as a character, so hopefully she has a lot of cool stuff to do in the story, or maybe you just see her in one hologram. I don't really know.
Doesn't Race Alone run into Kanan, Hera, and New Dawn?
She sure does. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been a while since I read that book. Yeah.
I saw like an art piece that went along with the
good stuff. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Reread it.
It'll be interesting, and like I know
what you were saying yesterday. Go watch Lord of the Rings with adult Evan eyes. You'll be enlightened.
Check yesterday's movie stream. Just
like my cup of tea.
We have like a good chunk devoted to Tross if you're trying to look for something.
But also like,
I would use the word review.
I know it was a little small review. But also like Nathan was saying, I love how you have to choose between like, okay, should I set power to my shield or should I set power to my weapons right now? Like it's giving you like real life Star Wars vibes throughout the whole gameplay feature. I really like that, having make like life and death decisions and everything.
Yeah, I also found it interesting that like they also have a set thing that you can like customize your fighter with like unlockables and stuff. Like you like your interior as well that you see, but also your exterior. But also remembering that it's only first person, you can't actually see that while you're flying. So I guess it's more for other players.
But your friends can, like people in your party,
it's
I
show
guess.
Off, really.
Yeah. And like they said that you can create battle strategies before you go into flight too, which seems pretty interesting. Like I wonder how much you can kind of say like, hey, let's go to point A and point B and everything. I wonder how that's gonna work. Or if
I wonder if that
like
sets for like more like of the AI squadrons to like go on a certain
I didn't even think about that.
That's interesting.
Kind of like when you play like the Madden games and you pick a play and like they'll start off, but like who you select.
Yeah, you can like. That's how that's a good analogy because I feel like they'll be kind of like it'll be more strategic in that sense where you'll start to like kind of see actions from the other side that you can start to kind of pick up on and be like, oh, this person's doing this, so I got to react this way. And hopefully it's not like, utter chaos like Battlefront where I don't even know which way is up. Like I don't know where I am. And the next thing I know, and I'm like in a Star Destroyer. I'm like, how did I fly in here? I think the dynamic between the controls and the actual gameplay is going to be great this time. I'm hoping.
Yeah, and in regards to the actual campaign, it does look like you're taking control of 2 characters on each side of the war, which I definitely like. As I had said previously when discussing this game, I don't want a repeat of Battlefront 2 where you divert from the Empire to the Rebellion. I would like if they kept on their story lengths where they go, and if you have to like have some sort of like set conclusion since it is post Jedi War, maybe like have your main characters enter into a developing branch of Resistance and First Order. I think that would work better for an ending.
Yeah, Star Wars Explained was saying maybe the Empire guy could go like follow the ships into the unknown regions, and that's how his story ends. That'd be really cool. Be like, Ray Sloan's like, "Hey guys, follow me. The rest of the Empire is finished. We gotta go on to start the First Order or something like that."
Yeah, absolutely. So there's some other points to hit, but I think I should go ahead and touch on the finale of the Disney Gallery Mandalorian doc. Try to bear with Carson. I don't know if he's even still.
Are you even still watching it?
Yeah, I'm on the Darksaber, man. This Darksaber prop is amazing.
Oh, you're just on Darksaber? Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't even write down Darksaber, but like we've talked extensively.
Like I guess we haven't really seen that many shots of it like behind the scenes. I think we've seen like a couple throughout this entire journey of the behind the scenes documentary. But seeing like the creation of the little pieces of it, like wow, like
the fact that they actually developed the look of it was pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I noted from that Darksaber segment was how Dave Filoni said he didn't want it to be a 1-for-1 copy of animated to live action, because in his head he always only thought of it like in the animated version. He always thought of that as like the just an animated version of what it could look like in live action. You know what I mean? So he's trying to reference that while putting
like reverse engineer it to like
reverse engineer it.
So that the live action version would inspire the animated version. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Pretty great.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool segment there.
The thought of like reverse engineering something like that is pretty fascinating. I don't think that's too much harder like when they're developing live action the props, because like it's a lot easier. It's really like the creative freedom is through the character design, I think. But like even like looking at the on-set hilts, like it matches pretty well to the actual animation.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
So I wrote down like a lot of because this episode is called Connections. Like this really, I feel like this whole episode was really like fan service is done in like the most magical way of just like, it's not like in your face, like the point. It's just like it enriches it if you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the main parts about this episode that I loved was Jon Favreau's passion. Like all these connections, he was so passionate about everything. He was like, even if they don't know who it is, some people will. And that's all that matters. If you don't know what it is, it's not going to hurt your enjoyment of the story. So it's all cool.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I just got to the part where they revealed that Mark Hamill voiced that droid in the cantina. And like, I love that. And then I've been seeing Mark tweet out that like he's been taking like different like names in the credits to like throw people off like as a droid credits. I'm like, that's the most Mark Hamill thing ever. But I love that like he takes pride in like continuing to do his voice work in Star Wars when he can't be Luke in this time. Well, he could be Luke in this time period, but there was that animated series we're waiting. But that aside, I think it's cool that part of the connections of this episode are like how they loop in Star Wars alumni and just everybody that's kind of been passionate about Star Wars.
Yeah, and I definitely want to like touch on those specific droids because I had them written down. That droid is EV-99, which like most people, I learned these names through merchandise. Like through like a lot of the Lego sets was primarily like how I got information on names, like all the Ewok names and stuff. But yeah, EV-99 was always an interesting design to me. First appearing in Jabba's palace, and I'm not sure if they were saying it's the same droid. They might.
I don't think so.
But it is instance of the same droid with R5D4 from the opening of A New Hope, the bad motivator.
It's got a bad motivator.
Yeah, and I like that not only like they built that up, but like literally on set as they were shooting, Filoni tells one of the set decorators like, "Can you like oil up the bad motivator piece?"
Yeah,
so it's like
put some grease on here. Yeah,
like I love that attention to detail. It's so beautiful.
They're like, sure, I guess we can.
What was also funny is like Favreau brought up like there's some stuff with him in the EU of him being like Force sensitive. Filoni's like,
yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, they had some great banter throughout this entire episode. I loved that. Just some of the back and forth they had this episode was hilarious.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wrote all the stuff in mostly in order, and I wanted to address this. So like starting off like with the Wilro Hood ice cream maker, which I had gushed about previously when we first started talking about Mandalorian. It was just it was such a cool set piece, and the fact that they like have that, like John again having that passion for it is just beautiful.
He was going crazy about it.
Yeah, the fact that we implemented the light like they did in Pulp Fiction briefcase, like just
I was like, wow,
the magic. And I will like admit, like you just see in the background of Empire, it's like it doesn't really feel like anything, but you see it here, and it like you really get like the sensational feel with the Beskar with it. It looks really great.
Yeah, I really hope we see Jon Favreau at Celebration wearing that jumpsuit with the ice cream maker. That'd be too funny.
I hope so.
Like Kathy just introduces him, and they both just run out. Dave and him run out on stage. And
oh my god, I would have loved that.
I'm definitely gonna touch on Dave later, but like I know his enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, Dave has a great story towards the end of the episode too.
Yeah, I got it all written down. So another thing they did was the blurs, which I thought was great. Like a deep cut, I didn't realize. I thought like they showed a shot of it, in like the last episode of the doc, and initially I thought it was like test footage, but then I actually realized it's actual like real footage from the Battle of Endor Ewok film, of all things. Yeah. Which I thought was just like
I've still never seen that film.
Yeah, I really haven't sat down to. I've seen reviews of it, but it's like
is it on Disney Plus?
I don't think so.
No, I would love if they implemented
Disney Plus.
No, but I would love if they put the Ewok films in the holiday special on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
they think they have to.
They have to. I'm shocked.
Oh, well, not shocked. Filoni had a funny line. Like John was like, and with all these specific elements, we can launch Disney Plus. Oh, perfect.
Oh god.
But yeah, the blurg stuff was good. Yeah, like another like tiny little things like the eWeb and everything. The functionality is cool. Mm-hmm. But the big talk with like IG-11 was also funny. Just going into how like he's really is just like a piece of like scrap metal they scrounged up on set. But like when you're a kid, it's like, oh, it's so badass and stoic. Like look at
he's a background droid from the cantina scene. They put
and there's
him in
literally
there.
just like 3 dots, like whatever how many dots. And
yeah.
Like, whoa.
Like he doesn't move because he's badass, but actually he's bolted to the floor and doesn't have to move.
Yeah, actually he's just there. Like
right. Like yeah, they showed the Empire clip of Vader walking, like he really is just like not moving at all. There's no puppetry. It's so funny, which just makes me appreciate the like the mechanized movement that it has later on in Mandalorian. It just looks so cool.
It's not CG. Taika can just do that.
Right. Yeah. He gets super skinny and
he breathes in. He just.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. It was cool. John Knoll talking on the Walker effect. I actually didn't notice. I didn't know about this for like Rogue One and stuff. They actually they take their CG models and they put it over the old model workings because without that old jitteriness, it loses its character.
Yeah, I like that whole part there. Yeah. That was really interesting because Dave Filoni is like, we have the technology to make it very smooth and stuff, but like Nathan said, it would lose its character. So we got to keep that original look of the AT-AT. Cool.
I bet it would look too smooth if it was like all.
Yeah, if it just went like
composited just from
that ain't as fun. But when it is rickety, yeah.
And going off of that, I like how the ATST thing, how it was like a chicken walker in Empire Strikes Back, but then it gets referenced in Return of the Jedi. I mean, it gets seen in Return of the Jedi, and then they make it into a huge like monster in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I like how it gets its own like a character aesthetic, which I think they touched on a previous episode. But yeah, it's just
how
it's
it towers over
fantastic.
the village. It's just one, but like again, that's such a cool story decision because it's like we talk about this every time when we talk about Mandalorian. Is like how there's different perspectives of how far out you go in the galaxy of what they know about the Empire and the state of the galaxy, the Empire being over. You know, like not everybody was at the Battle of Endor. Like it's just the reality of the situation. The galaxy is that big, and to see like how much of a threat one ATST can be, like it's surreal.
Oh, for sure. It really that was like a big thing for me. Like initially playing the 2015 Battlefront is like what really like set me off of like, oh my god, ATSTs are like really intimidating because you're running around them. It was to the point like when I saw it appear in Rogue One back when it came out, I was like, oh my god. I actually had like a sense of fear from gameplay flashbacks. Like,
and when you get in one in that game, like you're so high up and all the little people just running around are just like tiny running through the forest and you're like, oh my god.
Oh, and it's crazy playing them in the Lego games too. Just like
I love that.
Like even I played the first mission of Lego Force Awakens where they replay the Battle at Endor to get you into the gears of the gameplay. And I was just like, oh my god, it's crazy. But it's also comedic because like you can just like walk over stormtroopers and flatten them, but they'll pop back up.
Yeah, I love the walkers in Fallen Order actually when on Kashyyyk. Where isn't that you when you have to like climb up on the vines around it because it's all covered by like the earth, and you have to like go around and around and then jump from leg to leg. I think
that's pretty dope. Yeah,
I love that mission.
Oh, it's so fun. Another big thing that like I think they've talked about like all the way back to previous Celebration was the pulse rifle, which is such a great design of a weapon, but it's a special. Cars, I don't know if you got there in the episode, but
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I'll still address it. It's just they bring up like the whole holiday special thing, and they go into it, and then there's like on set, Favreau is talking to George about it, and he's like,
yes,
he's like, did you see what we got? You know what that's from? Like you wrote that. That's
you wrote that. Right? He's like, no, I didn't write that.
I didn't.
So
Filoni's recounting it too, and he's just like George said, I had nothing to do
with the straightest face ever. He's just like, no, I didn't touch that shit. Like, that was good. No.
like it's so instinctive to deny it never happened.
That never happened. Like, what are you talking about, John? Huh? I never heard of the holiday special. Can you say it again? Yeah.
And it's funny because like you look back at the holiday special, it really is like simplistic with its animation, just like a little like zap effect. But in the Mandalorian, it's so intense. The electrified, like the way the creature goes back into the ice ocean.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Episode 1, right?
Yeah. And he used that a lot in like episodes 1, 2, and 3. He's just like evaporating everybody.
Yeah. I'm hoping to definitely see even better uses of it in the coming
now with
season.
The extraction director, Sam, I don't know. I forget.
Sam Hargrave. Come
Sam.
on.
And I know they also had this gets more toward the end of the episode, but like I know they had obviously the troop transport, which was interesting. It was interesting to me too because like not only for people that grew up in like the 70s getting that toy, but I knew there was a Lego set of it, and I was like really confused because I was like, this isn't in any of the movies. I don't recognize this design at all. And they had the same thought as well. It's just kind of like a like marketed thing, but the fact that they turned it into a canon vehicle is really cool, and it's in Rebels prominently. They even address.
Yeah, I didn't know that came from like a toy set or a Lego set at first. I just thought it was like, oh, just a new thing that's been involved. Like everybody's been introduced in Star Wars, but that's it. But
it's one of the like really old Kenner toys, just for fun. And like to go back on the Rebels connection with Filoni, he was bringing up like the blurgs, and I thought like the blurgs appeared so much because he genuinely liked them, but he was just like, for some reason they keep following me around, and like you put them in there for me like you were doing me a favor.
Yeah, they were in the Clone Wars in 2009, and then they were in Rebels, and that's because like they fit the locations that they were, so he had to use them. But it's so funny they always followed him around.
I genuinely thought he enjoyed blurgs, but I guess not.
Me too.
I really like them.
Yeah.
Didn't we see Tam Syndulla or whatever on? Well, I can't remember. What's that episode? Early in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that was the clip that they showed. They
had to deliver
I think it was like season 2. I think.
Yeah, it's early season 2. They had to deliver the medical supplies or whatever, and then that's the same episode. I think it's intercut where it's like Bail Organa has to like secretly get the ally thing of God, what's that planet? I don't know. Great episode though, because they're like they're like, nah, like we don't like the Republic anymore. Like you guys are straight trash. Like,
I remember I initially didn't like that episode because Tam was so different from how he was in what was the book with
Lords of the Sith?
Lords of the Sith.
Yeah, he is different.
He was totally different. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. But then like later on in season 3, when Tam shows up again, he's like back to normal.
Yeah,
Tam. Very weird. But yeah,
it's interesting.
That's how it works.
This starts to get like the last 2 points, but toward the end of the episode, the whole address of the TIE fighter that Moff Gideon comes in and he lands and it like closes up. I was like, oh, that's a cool new design. But like apparently, according to Favreau on set, he was saying like this is actually how all TIE fighters can land. We haven't seen it yet. And I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's like the functionality we haven't seen yet.
I guess whenever they would, it probably is like I can get behind this functionality in thought looking back because like it really does take up like a lot more long range space. So I imagine to fit in hangars, that's why they built like all the different rows to go up to them that way, for more
like in The Force Awakens, yeah.
Yeah, like a set army instead of like having them all spread out, taking up room. So that makes sense. It's definitely funny, and really like intriguing to think that they can even do that. Like all of them it's really interesting.
Yeah, I guess I missed that part. I didn't know they all could do that. I thought he was just saying like this is unused concept art from Rogue One, and we just used it here because we liked it.
Yeah, they weren't. He wasn't saying it was like a new model or anything. Yeah. It's just like it's the classic TIE fighter. Pretty never cool. Before seen in its
Speaking of ships, I just got to the part in the episode where they revealed that the X-wing in Galaxy's Edge is the one they use in the Mandalorian. How cool is that? And then nobody's known that till now.
Yeah. That story had me weak. Like it was a hilarious story.
We hijacked it from being transported. That's what he just said.
Yeah,
and they cut it up.
It's the one here in Orlando, Florida. Not in Orlando, but here in Florida. It's that X-wing that they have, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's insane. That's so
pretty
cool.
Awesome.
I mean, obviously it's a CG model on the exterior, but the interior that they trick out, it's so fascinating. And also just Dave's constant annoyance to not want to do the scene at all.
So freaking funny. It was
the picture. I just got to the picture of him.
Yeah.
There seems to be a transport that's leaving.
Yeah, just sound disinterested. He's like, I can do that.
I can do that. Like that's my normal tone. But yeah, the story was freaking hilarious because he's like, okay, so I'm directing this, or I'm doing like second unit directing on this set piece of Taika or Rick, one of them. And he's just sitting there, and he's like, okay, I got to go to set with Favreau here in like 8 hours. So either I can probably stay here, I can have a good excuse if I don't go, but John really is badgering me about this. He's harassing me about this. I got to do it. And John's like, yeah, man, I was really like, our friendship would have been over if you didn't do this for us. Something like that. He's like, okay, fine. And he went. And then Deb was really upset because he thought Rick and Dave weren't going to do it. So Deb had to do it as well. She's like, okay, fine. I'll go with you guys. And seeing them all do it was hilarious. Yeah.
Oh man!
None of them. I mean, I'd have been just like them. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to act. I'm just directing. I don't want to have to sit in a cockpit. And then they got the lines at the last minute. John was like, "Oh yeah, you guys got to say some lines too. Or just read this." And they all had like one line apiece. That was really cool.
Yeah, like fed them like live on set.
Yeah.
Looks like they're launching a gunship.
Yeah.
It looks like they're launching a gunship.
Looks like they're launching a gun. And then John got so excited. He's like, yes, because that's exactly how they were back in 1977. They sounded so disinterested.
And then Filoni's recounting like the pre-screening viewing of it, and just like, oh god, here it comes.
Here it comes. Oh, that's too funny. I remember watching the episode because then John mentioned like, okay, you're complaining about this, Dave, but the fans are going to love it. The fans are going to love it. And I remember watching it, like my brother and I were like, that's definitely Dave Filoni, right? That's Rick.
Yeah,
right?
you like rewind. You're like, hold on.
I had to rewind it and then watch the credits. I'm like, holy crap, that's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I remember watching it too. I was like, oh my god, Filoni. But I was like, is that Rick and Deborah?
That was so awesome. Trapper Wolf, right?
Yeah. He's like, I'm in my suit looking like a giant grapefruit.
Yeah, he's like, orange is not your color. Oh my god, I was dying. Yeah, Dave does not look good in orange. That was too funny. Oh man, yeah, that was just a very sweet and hilarious moment on set.
Yeah, and I think that about wraps up the episode as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a great series overall.
Fantastic.
One thing I will ask, like, are you guys? Do you think this continues through the Mandalorian? Do you think they just kept on this kind of side unit to make this again, and then they'll probably do interviews later after the pandemic? Do you think it will go on?
I may have been uncertain if they would keep doing something like this, but I think not just because Star Wars and documentary is like such a big powerhouse because of like how much the behind the scenes has inspired generations of filmmakers.
Yeah.
I maybe would have thought they might have capped this at one season, but the fact that other Disney shows are starting to do this, like Frozen 2 just launched one of the same caliber.
Yep. We know
all 6 episodes at once, which is interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think that makes sense because like it's been out for quite a bit, but Mando, I think this works because it's not just a set movie. It's you watch the whole series, and then that by the time they premiere this, I think it being annual like keeps your interest in the show to build up to the next season.
I
agree. I would be shocked if they didn't do this for Mando season 2. Like,
especially if they do like even crazier things. Like imagine like okay, if we have like the set like Ahsoka stuff, I imagine they'll like want to go in depth.
Yeah, that'd
be awesome. Yeah, and this reminds me, I just wish we had this for the sequel trilogy as well. Some kind of behind the scenes, because like the prequel trilogy had the great like Phantom Menace doc and everything.
We have the great Director of the Jedi doc.
I love that. Yeah, that's
great
incredible.
Doc. I have not. The Force Awakens one is okay.
Yeah, the Force Awakens one is mid. Mm-hmm.
The Rise of Skywalker one I have not watched.
I forgot Rise of Skywalker did. It's called the Skywalker Saga though, so it's not really like.
So it's not.
I mean, it's primarily focused in Tross, but like they do like cut back to like we're doing the same as before, and it's like I see it.
Yeah, we all see it, JJ and Chris. We recognize what you're going for.
It is cool seeing like new like behind the scenes stuff from back then, but it's all pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Release the Gareth cut. Release the Lord of Miller. Give me the
I would
entire 8 episodes on Solo. What happened?
Oh my god! Yeah. Oof. No, yeah. I would love to see a Lord Miller doc called Red Cup.
Oh my god,
that would be too funny. Oh my god!
Like, I think when like Lord and Miller are like 80, like they should just be like, all right, our career 80? Is like, you know, we're not we're retired, we're chilling. All right, we got this filmography behind us. Let's talk about Solo, and they just release a book about it. Like, I would, I would love to hear about that.
I wouldn't be shocked if that comes out after Kathleen Kennedy is retired from Lucasfilm.
I'm so curious.
I wouldn't be shocked because after she leaves, Lord Miller can be like, it doesn't matter because the next person in charge. I mean, it kind of does matter because you don't want to like leave Lucasfilm. Like,
you don't want, especially them being a leader in the entertainment industry.
Exactly.
Like, you don't wanna,
so as I say, like, that's probably not going to happen. But even then, like,
we say that, but Lord and Miller, everything they do is pretty much for Sony at this point.
Sony has them by the nut. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Because even like, I think, like, horrible move. I think Warner Brothers like gave away their Lego rights recently.
Oh, they gave it to Universal, I think, or Universal or Paramount, one of them.
Yeah, but even so, like that. Even like if there were to be any more further like Lego movie set stuff that they produce or direct, like I don't think it would happen anymore. So
you're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm still sad, but it's it's interesting. We got more talking points for sure. A big announcement that came out in the last week was that Star Wars Celebration will no longer be happening this year, and it's being pushed back not 1 but 2 years.
Woo!
Which I didn't even read in the initial announcement. I was like, I read 2021. I read 2021. I had to make 2 tweets because I misread it. I'm like, Star Wars Celebration will be back in 2022?
It's very funny seeing your like wave of thought, Carson, because you tweeted out delayed 2022. I'm like, okay. And then Carson's like, wait, 2022?
This dropped like randomly during the day. It was like 3 p.m. or something. And I'm like,
wasn't it last Friday? It was like another Friday news drop or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is like, because my sleep schedule has been such trash, I wake up at like the afternoon. I won't clarify, but I wake up and I got like a bunch of notifications. Sure, and I'm just like, okay. Well, the first thing was the email from Celebration, and I was like,
that's right. Yeah, I got the email too.
Announcement, and I opened it up, and like my initial thought is like I scanned like a bunch of like different things, including like the logo, and I look at the logo and I like read it like I normally do. And it's like, oh, yes, this is Celebration Anaheim 2022.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
I was like, hold on.
Speaking of which, so I saw that they tweeted out like the official like transfer light refund thing. Yeah. Presuming all of us are going in 2022, we don't have to do anything, right? It's no action required.
No action required.
Yeah, no action.
That's
which is so weird to me because I remember as soon as it dropped, I'm like, okay, how do I transfer my tickets immediately? So I go to the link, and then it just says like, "See you in 2022." I'm like, wait.
You're like, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. They said like, thank you. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just clicked on the link. I was like, did I do this right? And then finally they're like, yeah, you're good.
The same exact thing happened to me today. A concert I was supposed to attend got canceled, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, what do I have to do to refund? And it was already processing. And I was like, oh, all right.
Oh shit, no.
All right.
Yeah, that's getting better.
Part of me is like, oh, it's a bummer, it's canceled, but another part of me is like, more money.
Paycheck. That's what sometimes when I get refunds, I'm like, I'm getting a paycheck. Like,
it's like a long term.
It's payday.
It's payday.
I never spent that money. I would never spend that money.
Yeah, $200. He was crazy.
No.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it's like, but it's especially fun because I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, that was our concert tickets. So like, thank. All right.
But yeah, it makes a lot of sense that it's coming in 2022. People were wondering why it wouldn't be 2021, and that's mainly because next August they're doing D23, and they never want to compete with that, and they wouldn't do like an April thing. It just, I think they're really set
right after,
yeah. I mean, they did that in 2015, I think.
No, 2017, because remember
2015 and 2017, because it's every other year, yeah. So yeah, I think they just like they're really stuck on that August date. And they're like, okay, we'll just do it in 2022, which is fine by me.
The slate movie for 2022 is December again.
Yeah, which we'll talk about later because we don't even know if that's going to continue to happen or not.
Right.
Yeah, I do got that listed for later.
But I'm still very much excited for 2022. Like, I'm even more curious now what they're going to announce then because it's 2 years away. Anything can happen. In Star Wars news, so you never really know.
And what do they hold off on / move up announcement wise on the plate that was going to be announced this year?
I think like the Mando season 2 trailer, which was totally going to drop at Celebration.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think that'll just drop in August somewhere. Like regardless.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually be surprised if like. Well, no, it was about the same time. Yeah, I feel like they'll drop that. I was kind of like thinking in regards to like the whole movie theater reopening thing. Obviously, they don't typically show TV show trailers, but normally when you get there early enough before the set trailers, sometimes the screen will be playing stuff. And especially I see stuff for Disney all the time playing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had like some sort of Mando presentation start to play that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should be interesting just to see like all the announcements that were probably supposed to come out. Like I imagine like the rumored series that we're gonna get into a little bit later. Will probably get announced there.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yes, like all that kind of stuff. It's interesting. It's a bummer too, because I mean, last time we were all together was about over a year ago now, and now there's 2 years ahead, so that's about 3 years about the making of a old school Star Wars. Basically.
I miss you guys.
And there's a pandemic.
Wow.
It's just like
oof, yeah.
Wow.
You guys trying to go to D23?
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm already set to go to Comic-Con in person next year, so that'll be.
That's definitely.
Oh yeah, so that automatically refunded for you, or that automatically transferred for you?
Yeah, it automatically transferred, and I still have my media.
That's awesome.
So
that's incredible.
I can still apply if like I could potentially like host like some sort of interview.
Wow, that's really cool, dude. Awesome. Like 2021 is going to have a lot of great comic book future stuff with everything being delayed. So Marvel and DC. Marvel can talk about Doctor Strange and everything, and Thor, and wow, that sounds.
I wonder if stuff like the DC fandom will start like bursting out into other franchises. It would be interesting.
Yeah, I expect Marvel to release a lot of trailers. Yeah, Marvel Eternal still hasn't had a trailer release so far. It's coming out.
I think that's probably going to drop in time for Mulan.
Yeah, makes sense.
If Mulan comes out, and I don't know, guys. I keep getting. Yeah. Even from yesterday, it's like
it's gonna be July, August. Now it's September.
Right.
Well, okay. It's only I think it's only fitting that I spent so much Star Wars on the normal movie talk yesterday that I go
right. Yeah. So we get a little sub segment here.
Yeah, it's a backdoor pilot.
Oh yes, it is the only acceptable backdoor pilot.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, I'm also yesterday I like gushed a bunch about the Bill and Ted films, and like I was excited because it moved up a week, and now I think it moved back like 2 weeks. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I think is that premiering on the same day as New Mutants now?
Yeah, I think so.
New Mutants, it's like without a doubt.
It's moving totally
for the 5th time.
I really think
crazy.
It's a bummer because I honestly think I'm honestly looking forward to New Mutants.
Me too.
I feel like I'm not opposed to it premiering on Disney Plus. I don't think that's
at this point. I'm not either, but I want what's best for the director. I think the director really wants a big screen thing, like any director does. But yeah, I feel bad for him at this point. But he's like, just release it so I can get out of this cage, please.
Yeah, I feel like at this time, how do you market a last standing disconnectment with the previous X-Men franchise?
I don't know.
It's so weird. Yeah,
it's been sitting on this cut for 4 years.
I don't think this movie's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Just like an okay horror.
It literally was just a product of it was I think they had a pretty good horror cut, or it was a little on the side of Disney was like, well, whatever, and then they just ended up not doing reshoots, and they're like, all right, we'll just keep it, and then it just hasn't been released because they kept pushing and pushing to find a spot, and then I don't know.
I wonder if the horror element is preventing them from keeping it on Disney Plus, but at that point they also have Hulu as an outlet for alternative content. So
yeah,
maybe as well. It's interesting.
Speaking of reshoots too, in regards to the Kenobi stuff, going back to Star Wars a little bit, Kenobi and Cassian, they're not going to have the backing of a big celebration thing like the first Mando did. I mean, I guess Mando season 2 now isn't as well, but it's kind of interesting seeing how Cassian and Kenobi aren't going to have that kind of backing. Maybe Kenobi, I don't know when that's coming.
I would love for them to hold especially if we're somewhat still in this pandemic stuff, hopefully the vaccine will be sometime mid next year, mid 2021.
Hopefully,
the current predictions are that. But if they're starting the promotional stuff in the spring, because I think we've predicted multiple times that it's probably going to be a fall drop for Cassian, right?
Yeah.
If they get off filming next month or whenever this month, or if they're already filming, I don't know.
Oh yeah, supposed to be in July
with the safety precautions and everything. But I wonder if they would do similar to how I would love a exclusive press event that was live streamed, how they had for Project Luminous, that they just had the press tweeting it out, but it wasn't live streamed. I would love an event like that where you could keep the bodies down, people that are actually there, and then you just have all the head people from the show doing a panel, a virtual panel, and then you drop concept art, whatever you want to show.
That'd be really cool.
A precursor to
yeah. I was gonna imagine maybe they could do something like that with the Star Wars show crew or something. Just get it, because they're still functioning monthly on that.
Hell, do it on the volume. I would a live stream on the volume.
Oh my god,
that would be amazing.
That'd be insane.
The thought of changing your environment is all around.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. I guess that would actually bring us to our next point. It looks like they're going to be using similar tech from the Mandalorian onto Kenobi. This coming straight from Ewan McGregor himself.
Yeah.
Which actually I wanted to back to the Mando doc real quick. I didn't even realize the walls of the cantina were also used that way, of the projection.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had pointed out too, they built maybe less than half of the original set, and the rest was the screens, which is so crazy. I never noticed.
Yeah, I felt like they got story a few episodes back about when that they thought that the set was on fire because of the background like stuff on the floor. Like it thought it was like,
yeah, is that smoking? What's going on?
Yeah.
How real does it look in person? Like
I can't
still
imagine.
Looks pretty real on camera. Like it's not 100% because I know I'm watching it behind the scenes, but like the fact that like on set it immerses you that well to like you can not only act well with it, but like the fact that it looks that real at such a close proximity. It's not just like a landscape; it's a wall.
Well, and especially if you're standing, if you put the camera somewhere and you set the parallax to that point, and then you're just standing like in front of the camera, that view is going to be, somewhat lined up to what the camera would be consuming or whatever. So that's going to look like that distance or whatever. So you're going to just see like so much.
Can you imagine if they like lock the point of view of the camera with the scene? So like the scene could like potentially like move with it, with the camera, and like imagine like somebody like accidentally bumps the camera and it just moves and like a starfield shoots down.
Yeah, no, like imagine like you're walking and you just get so disoriented, like and you just
that's hilarious. It reminds me of that scene from Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol where Benji like puts the thing in front of it and Tom Cruise is like, They should add the volume to the tour of Lucasfilm. Like, can't people do tours of Lucasfilm or something like that?
I would I think I would absolutely love it. I would never be able to leave. Like
I would be like, hey guys, we have an extra 10 minutes here. Just walk through the volume. Don't touch anything.
The poor tour guide would just be like, please leave. Like, and I'd be like, no, let me see blurgs again.
Put me in a blurg. I'm just gonna hide in it until everyone leaves. Oh my god! But yeah, so it looks like they'll be using the similar tech on Kenobi. It definitely makes sense to get like since we're trying to function in this new quarantine type society, and I imagine you have to get like sweeping landscapes of Tatooine a bunch. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah, they're not going to be traveling. Like, I wonder if they could do like virtual location scouting with the volume or something.
Wow.
Where they'd be able to like,
maybe like just fly a drone out with multiple points on. Cameras and just...
virtual location scouting. That's changing the game, Carson. Don't say that to the ether.
That's changing the industry.
Producers are going to get a lot of ideas here. You're going to fire a lot of jobs.
I honestly think that could work. You could just like have multiple set lenses like all around, and it can like scan your environment to like for the VFX team to get back on.
Right, and then they could render that for the volume and all of the views that you need, and then boom, you have your environment. You don't have to go to Abu Dhabi or where where JJ went and do all that. But I mean, it looks gorgeous there. That environment.
Yeah.
Especially, it's all worth it for that shot of Rey just like standing out in the desert, like waiting for the tide.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. Great shot.
I wonder if other projects are going to be using this. Like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but Kenobi's using it. Did Cassian Andor use it? Like that's filming soon.
Yeah, I mean that could be a good function for like Yavin if they wanted to.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if Cassian Andor isn't. Like, I hope a reporter asked Diego Luna or somebody involved if they're going to be using this.
Yeah,
like at this point, I think they even addressed it previously in a Mando doc that it really does just like change the game of like making films. Like you don't have to like go out to like block off specific points of to get like permission to film in areas and location scout. Like obviously you already have interior sets built in studios, but now this volume lets you bring your outside in. You don't really even have to like leave your production studio.
Yeah.
I
wonder if people like Denis Villeneuve is ever going to use.
No, and I wonder volume. Like what is the like? Is there some way that Lucasfilm can, or I assume it'd probably be like an ILM, not like patent, but I'm sure there's a way that they're gonna like distribute this out to other people to use, because it sounded like especially what we see in the Mandalorian doc of like, oh, it's all this technology is readily available, it's just the way we put it together. I wonder if that's gonna like, if it's just gonna kind of trickle out into the film industry with like other studios, like as Warner Brothers gonna be like, all right, we're gonna build our own volume now, and we're kind of gonna like
interesting.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Like
didn't the same thing happen with the different studios of like working on the DH technology originally? Like Disney was like the ones using it all the time, but then like it started branching out to other studios, like whether it was made with like Irishman or some Warner Brother property and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder who was the first one to use that. Like, was it Marvel? The first one.
Well, I think they attempted a roughness of it on Tron.
Yes, with the bad
yeah.
Jeff Bridges CG. Oof.
Yeah, and then they slowly start like Marvel slowly started to like get it done. I think it was around I want to say Ant-Man, if not earlier.
Yeah, I think Ant-Man was the first recognizable one because they did that for.
That was still pre-Rogue One.
Michael Douglas.
Tarkin happened, or not Tarkin. Sorry,
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas was like the first big one. I remember that.
That was 2015.
And then Tarkin in 2016 was huge.
I think
mainly because he was dead, so they had to totally do CGI.
I think most people got most blown away when they did Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War for the projection
for Barf.
Yeah, because I remember watching. I was like, whoa. It was still like new at the time. It's interesting the whole steps everything takes.
Yeah. But I really hope Joby Harold has a great time using the volume.
Yeah.
I had to do it, guys.
You had to do it. You had to mention him.
Hopefully we see Joby Harold in like a Kenobi doc.
I need it. I will like great. Make it my Twitter header forever. It's just Joby Harold sitting in director's chair in the volume.
See, the thing we're doing with Kenobi here, I cracked the system here.
do you guys think this would?
Everything's the same, but nothing's the same. That's how the way you want it.
Do you guys think the? Do you think the volume helps cut down production cost?
Good question. I think so.
I think it will in the long run too.
Yeah.
I think figuring it out probably had a lot of like upfront costs, and obviously the VFX heavy stuff costs a lot of money. But overall, like not
having
paying for exterior locations, paying for all those shoots, paying for traveling.
Yeah, not just traveling, but
too,
also like keeping your whole entire, not just your stars, but your like a whole production crew like safe, like in the desert, like be hydrated and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think. Go.
I also want, like, jumping off that, I wanted to pose: do you think that may help? Like, if it does like lean back production costs, do you think it could help any like development of like the Solo sequel that we would want?
Definitely, that would help. That I mean,
I definitely trying.
I would assume that would help with the Solo series, because
depends how much they want to pay Amelia. That's what I'll say.
Well, she's not doing Thrones anymore, man. I don't know.
Yeah, how much do you have to pay Amelia?
She's still Amelia Clarke, though. Like, I mean,
I love Amelia Clarke. I love her, but you ain't paying her like 20 million.
What's the Christmas movie?
20 grand an episode? No way.
Like, no, I meant like 20 million. Like, I don't know how much they pay Amelia Clarke for Throne, but it's Amelia Clarke. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess she would be the highest name on there, but if you don't bring back Donald Glover, we'll see. But yeah, I really want Solo 2 to happen with the inception of the volume. I hope in general it makes a lot of future Disney Plus shows easier to make, I guess, like easier to conceive. Like if they're hesitant about making an impossible Star Wars show, they can be like, hey guys, we have the volume. This would be not quick and easy, but we can shoot this in like what? I think Mando took 2 to 3 months to do all 8 episodes.
Yeah, I think even like I feel like even like the earliest like version of the volume I saw was when they did the hyperspace effect on Solo. I feel like when they had the giant board projection of in front of the cockpit with the star shooting by. I feel like it's one of like the early examples.
Amelia Clarke was making $500K per episode in the last season of Game of Thrones.
That's because Game of Thrones was popular by season 8. If you're doing it in Solo, it's like, hey,
but it's over now. Like, what else is she doing?
It's over, exactly. So they're like, okay, now for this new show, which people don't know much about, here's $100,000. Yeah,
and also like
it's still a lot of money. $100,000.
Yeah, that's still a lot of money.
And I feel like she'd be open to do it if like, because I mean she's already like really like.
Yeah, what else she doing? More rom-coms? Come on.
Yeah, I love
rom-coms.
I enjoyed the Christmas movie.
I did not expect everyone to be like, "Oh, Amelia Clarke." Yeah,
I love her.
Whatever.
Don't get me wrong.
And I think I feel like she'd be open to jump on board with this. Not just to return to like the castmates that she likes, but I think also the success of Mando is probably going to cement more people to come into these types of projects.
Yeah, I mean, she
The
reminds
real question:
me of,
how much you paying Jonas?
yeah, that's true.
You got a child to raise. Come on now.
I really need more Jonas.
What if they were hung up because Jonas was like wanting a pay raise, and they're like, "Yeah, Jonas, we can't do this." And Jonas like, "Come on, I deserve it. I'm Chewbacca. You need me. Give me the pay raise." Like Jonas,
I had
like,
another kid on set.
Yeah, like behind the scenes, Jonas is a huge a-hole or something. It's like, I need a pay raise.
No, never.
But yeah, he's the best. I'm just kidding around. Jonas, please come on the show.
Jonas and Amelia is a great pairing as well. If you watch,
they were so great.
Their interviews
together.
were so good.
I love them. Yeah,
like it's so. I always remember like this one. They were doing like the autocomplete interview, and like somebody brought up something.
I remember that.
And Amelia was like, "Wait, what is that?" And it's like, "It was my college. I went to college." She's like, "You did well done." They just both crack up. It's
that's good. Yeah,
they're the best, man.
I went to college. I was like, college? Never heard of it. Okay.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, I think Evan's getting a little too amused, so let me bring him back down.
Wow.
There's rumor.
Wow.
Transition.
There's rumor out there of the development of Lucasfilm animation. Our favorite topic of discussion, maybe. But
this is coming from Corey from not making Star Wars. Corey in general now.
I think Noah backed him.
Noah Outlaw, yes. I think they're working together now after the incident.
Yeah, they're pretty tight. So it looks like the word on the Clone Wars sequel show-ish spin-off type deal is going to be revolving around the Bad Batch, which was the center of our today's thumbnail. It's interesting. I think did we bring this up at all? The previous?
No, because I
don't think
it was
so.
Undisclosed of what it. We heard mumbles of like we brought up like in general what a Clone Wars like spin-off / we talked about how awkward that time period was, especially like with content that we already have.
It's funny before you say that, Nathan, because I tweeted at Corey, I'm like, I'm not really excited for this Clone Wars thing. I think we've had enough of Ahsoka and Rex, and he tweeted me back saying it's not going to be about Ahsoka and Rex, and that's when the interest started to gain.
So there was a couple points. I think one thing he said was like there might be like some brief appearance with Ahsoka and Rex in like an episode or two, but not like starring roles.
Yes.
And it's also going to be set post Order 66, which I think
boring.
Which picks up,
but it makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
Which would place us right after the very emotional finale with Ahsoka and Rex, where we don't really see where they're going. So it's kind of in a way is a bridge sequel connection. I think it could potentially set up where Ahsoka and Rex go in between Clone Wars and Rebels. Obviously they're not the main focus. Bad Batch are with everybody in Echo. Yeah. So it's interesting because I'll go ahead and start before this all comes
please
from
do.
Before I find it like the interesting aspect of like what did happen to this interesting batch of clones post Order 66, like where they go. Because we got introduced to them, and I mean I liked them enough that I didn't want them to just be killed off like every other Jedi post Order 66 or somewhere in the war. I want them to like live on, and I even like had so many season 7 theories that like they might come back into Rex's storyline, which they didn't. But I definitely found it interesting. It's funny. I know like a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but this kind of falls into the same vein that I'd be open to seeing more. And I probably even more so than the Bad Batch would want to see more stories with the Martez sisters. I'm like one of the few who actually enjoyed.
Dude, you say that, but I would be on board for that. I wouldn't like a TV show, but
okay.
I
would like that as a novel
or a comic book. I'd be like, I would want to see more of them. It wouldn't necessarily need a TV show.
A certain point of views, or certain point of view story.
I mean, if I were to put them into like a visual medium, maybe not even like an episode of this, but maybe like somewhere along a mission in Fallen Order, mayy of the sequel.
That would be really cool.
Because it's only like 5 years after. So
yeah.
Well, I don't know when the sequel is going to be set, but
that's actually a really great idea. Like because now that they have a perceived idea of what the Jedi are and Ahsoka, like that'd be a great cutscene of
I think so.
Those three sitting down.
Yeah, but in regards to the Bad Batch themselves, it's interesting. I find it interesting when dealing with clones post Order 66, but primarily the only clone that I would function with that is Rex, who I have a connection to. This Bad Batch still feels a little too new. Well, it's weird because in that sense, like their newness kind of helps sell me on looking at this versus like if we were to just get like a straight up Rex show. But I don't know. It's like I didn't like overly get attached with the Bad Batch. Like they were fun, but I wasn't like set to like constantly watch them forever. However long this series might go.
I agree. I'm just confused. It's like you said, I thought there was gonna be. I thought their selling point of why that arc was set up was obviously the Echo stuff and the Rex stuff, but of them coming back and like their inhibitor chips not working or something. I really thought that was going to be a thing to like show the contrast of like everything happening with clones. But now if this is set post Order 66, I'm not sure what their objective or what they're going to be kind of. Are they on the run? Like, I don't know what that's going to look like, or, are they going to be kind of going after Empire stuff, like on the scale that they can? Like, I don't know, like, what kind of their core mission is going to be. So I just don't know what it's going to look like. And I guess that's both good and bad, but like I overall, I'm just like, kind of like, I don't know.
Exactly. Let me preface this by saying like, I'm going to watch this show if and when it happens, but thematically, I don't see the importance of this show. You know what I mean? So, like, the Bad Batch were important, like we've said before, for Rex's arc. What's so interesting about them without that thematic tool there? Like, what's so cool about seeing their journey post Order 66?
So I just kind of like came up with a story idea on the spot of like how I would pitch the show to go. What I would probably have be the running story is I think it could be interesting for Bad Batch to maybe take. I know they were like primarily like a group of on their own, but I feel like they could potentially garner sympathy for the fallen brainwashed clones, especially with Echo's ties to them. That maybe they could develop a primary mission to like be a set of freedom fighters for different battalions of clones, and maybe it gets like to an extensive scenario that the Empire has to. It's what leads the Empire to terminate the clone usage program to start recruiting Imperial troops.
I just thought of a better idea that you just inspired from that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The Bad Batch is going to infiltrate the Stormtrooper Academy and do a small like Stormtrooper rebellion from the inside. They're going to infiltrate the training ranks of the Stormtroopers.
And these are regular.
I don't know where at in the galaxy.
People? No, I mean, like, are these Stormtroopers everyday people or a mix of clones and regular people?
I think it'd probably be a mix, or they would discover as they go on, maybe in the training, they discover a clone and then kind of like, reflect on that.
You think they can do revolution with normal people?
I think it would be. I don't know.
Like, these old Fs, like, we don't care about them. But
I mean, I think they could show like them like, being better, more like suit, because they're the clones' purpose was to fight. Like they were literally engineered to fight.
Yeah,
like they could show like the common people like, oh, like we can be taken seriously. We're literally engineered to fight, and you aren't. You have a choice, and we have a choice now. And we're trying to give you that choice too. Like I think that could be interesting.
I mean, I think I'm leaning towards Nathan's more so than. I mean, because I don't think they would give a crap about.
See, that's the thing. I'm just like making up that I don't know if they care what they care about.
Yeah, I think given like from the fourth episode, I think that the only person, I think the emotional anchor of this possible show would be, what's it called? The newest one. What was his name? The one that they found. Echo. Yeah. He would be the emotional anchor because he knows what it's like to be mind controlled, and going off of Nathan's story there. They can say like, okay, Echo feels compelled to help the other clones that became stormtroopers. He can help them know the error of their ways, basically.
Yeah.
And then start a revolution. But then the other four be like, we don't really care. We're on the run here. We got to kill them. We got to just try and survive. And then it's like that tug and pull emotionally there. I guess that can.
Well, I guess there'll be some baggage with Order 66 too. Like, how do they feel about that? And like, how do they feel about? Yeah. I mean, we already know how they feel about the other clones and kind of like how they.
Because they didn't really care about the other clones.
But does Order 66 change that? Like, I don't know. It feels weird that we wouldn't see them in Order 66 of where they were, yet we would be in the aftermath in that weird time period that we talk about, where it'd be like,
I think episode 1 would show like
it would show like the flashback. Yeah,
exactly. I think it would have to just to set their tone and their emotional headspace. I think most of them they would fear, not fear, but the Order 66 would kind of reinforce their opinions that they had of the clones, saying like, oh, those clones are just used for war. We're different. We're better than them, kind of like what we saw in the 4 episodes. Yeah. But then when we saw them get mind control, they're probably going to be like, okay, they're even worse off. We don't even care. We just got to worry about it.
And then what would they think of the Empire then, of like, all these new soldiers rising up? I don't know.
Maybe they would, of course, they would hate the Empire, but because also like they liked doing what they were doing for the Republic.
Right. They had that purpose.
That purpose, exactly. So now that the Republic became the Empire, maybe they feel like they lost that purpose, so they have to fight back. So I'm creating some kind of possible story
motivation,
in my head, motivation, but I can't fathom Lucasfilm's headspace here in terms of, because like John said in the Mando document, I hate saying this, but like you got to give the fans what you're always thinking about the fans. You don't want to give the fans what they want, but you're always thinking of the fans whenever you're creating a product, especially in Star Wars. Yeah. I just don't see a lot of people being excited for, oh, wait, a Bad Batch show.
The Bad Batch, yeah.
Like, give me 6 episodes, maybe 6 to 8 episodes, just one season. Maybe then I would stomach it, but I can't do 2 to 3 seasons of, like, if we only got 2 seasons of Resistance, just give me 1 season of Bad Batch then, like, right? Like, I don't feel like this is
Filoni doing important. This? Like,
there's no way, right?
He doesn't have time.
There's not the time, nor
do I think he cares.
Does he care
on his list about this being his priority right now?
Agreed.
I can't see it.
I can't see somebody in Lucasfilm saying we got to do this.
I think it would probably be with the furthering of the Rebel characters, which I'll get on.
We'll talk on soon.
Yeah, he would be working on that as well as Mandalorian still. If not further other shows of potential backdoor pilots, but
because like. I just don't see
live
Filoni.
Action Tron. He's dropping everything.
Carson has left the chat. But yeah, that's the only thing I can kind of see. Like I'm still shocked because like to pitch a show at Lucasfilm, you have to get past a lot of people and stuff like that.
Right, and they're like,
it seems so surprising that Bad Batch was like, bam, we got to do this because this was a fan favorite. Like, was it? Like, I can see them kind of seeing like, okay, social media wise, people didn't like the sisters, whatever, which I still think is a bad take.
Why would they even be gauging that reaction in the first place?
You say that, you say that, but then I mean, just show production, they always have to gauge social media. But we also see Rise of Skywalker, what happens. And I know people love that movie, it's fair, but there's a lot of fan service in that, and they gauged a lot of stuff off of that as well. So, I don't know. I'm just very skeptical at this point, and it sucks because I think last week we were talking about it, or at least some of my friends were talking about it in terms of some of the bad decisions Lucasfilm is making. Because I think Lucasfilm isn't making a lot of good decisions, but there's a lot of bad ones too in terms of like, I don't like Bad Batch is like a bit iffy. We still don't know what's going on with Rian Johnson stuff. People are still iffy about Rise of Skywalker. So they need to get a lot of people on board.
We don't really know what their slate is for like what the Taika movie is, what the 2022 movie even is.
Mm-hmm. Like they need a lot of good faith. And I don't think a Bad Batch show is a sign of good faith because it just seems like like kind of showed like, oh, this is for the true fans. Bad Batch about clones shooting things up. Yay.
Right. And especially how powerhouse the animation department has been for like, especially hardcore fans of Star Wars, like the past 10 years or so. It's just interesting that they would go with like kind of a direct sequel show that's not something as big as the Rebels sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just seems like so miscellaneous.
Totally. Like Sky Talkers, I watched that podcast, Sky Talkers podcast. If nobody watches that, you guys should watch it or listen to it. But they always say like animation is the future of Star Wars because animation really grounds the Star Wars universe. It really
and we talk about even like the little shorts, Galaxy of Adventures. Like
Galaxy of Adventures,
so much you can do. Like
Resistance, Rebels is one of the best Star Wars products of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really it's hard to fathom at this point.
I'm sorry, I did step away real quick. Are we still talking about the Bad Batch?
Yeah, we're kind of done now. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay. Respect. Yeah, so just to wrap up, it's interesting, but like, yeah, I don't see it carrying further than like a limited 1 season run.
1,000%, yeah.
Like, if anything, like even just like the pitch of the idea I have, I only see that as like a 4-episode arc.
And it's like, why do it at all then? I don't know. Yeah. It's just my personal.
It's funny, real quick. Like this reminds me of a lot of the ABC pilots that they do like every single year. Like they have these great pitch, but it's like it seems like a 1 season kind of show, and then they always get canceled. They're like, of course it get canceled because it's a 1 season kind of pitch. So
I'm open if they wanted to do that for like just like this Bad Batch story for like a sort of test pilot type deal, but I don't really see it as a full functioning thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's just where I am with that. I am currently holding a cat. That's fun.
Nice.
Let's go to some good news here.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing in regards to the long talked Rebel sequel, which in actuality is being specified as a Rebel successor.
Yes.
Which I don't know what that could mean. But
I took some notes. I think like in his tweet he mentioned. Let me see here. Yeah, like it's like a Rebel successor in the sense that it still
not just Finding Ezra. Yeah,
it's not just Finding Ezra, which I like, and I like it. I also kind of expected, not like I wouldn't have been shocked either way if Hera and Zeb didn't show up, but the guy says like Hera and Zeb will show up, like they will be mentioned, they will be seen, so that's pretty cool. I like that. I like Hera, I like Zeb, I like. I'm happy because like I didn't need it to just be Ahsoka as being bam looking for Ezra and Thrawn. That's it.
Yeah.
Because like we were just saying, that could be like a 1 season kind of thing. But while you're bringing in Hera and Zeb, that is expanding the scope of the show to greater lengths.
It's bad. Yeah, I totally agree.
She's just on top of there. That's funny. But I think I'm kind of on the same page. I like how. I feel like it gives the show more of a backbone to like go off of versus just that one mission. And I'm sure like era wise, because how many years past this the ending scene of Rebels are we to get to, and like Hera's been through even so much after that, like with the rebellion, and so it's like
Battle of Jakku, her son,
right? Like, and I think there's just so much stuff. And like, how does Hera feel about the resurgence of like the First Order cells popping up and like all of that? Man. Like, that's got to be devastating. Like, all of that work. Yeah. Like, so that makes me think Hera is such a relevant character. And I'm sure probably.
Do you think we'll get any hints to her continued story here in any of the Squadron stuff?
No, maybe a couple again dialogue references, but not visual references. Like maybe she's like, "Oh yeah, I helped." I forget what the squad in Squadrons is called, but they're also referenced in what's it called? Alphabet Squadron. Hera. Yeah, that's what Star Wars explains it at least.
I'm just thinking also of like if Jason Syndulla is in the show, the son, like there's gonna be moments where she's struggling with him because. Presumably force sensitive, like, Kanan isn't there. Ezra isn't there. How does she deal with that? Like, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, so there's so much with Hera.
So an interesting thing is like, I kind of pitched this idea. I'm going to try to like flow this bridge together like I always do. And it probably won't pan out. Here I go. It's the same thing as I thought that could be a good idea with Ahsoka appearing in Mando in regards to interacting with Baby Yoda, that I now could see function with Jason Syndulla with Hera, considering presumably the Rebels' successor is also going to feature Ahsoka in it. I could see it being the stepping stone, either of those paths or both, if they wanted to be the connective tissue to our ideal. Maybe as a separate series, maybe, but to the stepping stone of the potential Ben and Luke training.
Whole series.
Yeah,
that's interesting because I think I just don't know where Hera's going to be like after, but obviously that series would fill this in, and like I'm curious to see like how big of an MO, like how many people are going to know about Luke's Academy, like how big of a scale it, like
I don't think
obviously we
see
do. Yeah. Like I don't think that many people know about it, and so it'd be interesting to see like
it's not like Luke sending out like if you need a kid to come help me out,
right? Like he's not putting up like wanted posters like bring your Force sensitive kid here today, childhood daycare. Like
sounds very creepy.
But at the same time, Hera knows Leia, right?
Yeah.
So there's that, and I think there's potential there with what Nathan was kind of saying of like those hints of like what that could be and what Ben could be like in a series set in that time period.
I think there'll be hints, but I don't necessarily think she's
going I don't think it would be like
with, hey, Luke, take my child.
I don't think it would be like drop off.
I think she'd stick around like before the war gears up again.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes of what was it called? That one book that came right before Rise of Skywalker with Poe.
God, I know what it's called. It's the orange cover. I don't know.
It's gonna bug me. Resistance Reborn.
Yay.
Yeah, I got there. But like he meets there Wedge and the woman from the Aftermath trilogy. I forget her name right now. But he meets them both, and they're kind of like in a farm, just like peacefully living. I can see Hera doing that because in this point, we still don't know the exact time span of this Rebels sequel show. But it's going to be possibly just like, given what we saw from Rebels, like at least 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And so Hera will be a mother now. Her kid will still be a little kid. Like
what if she has to leave again? Like, what does that look like?
But that's the thing. I don't think she is going to have to leave again because there's so much time. There's not a lot of bad stuff going on. The First Order is 15 years from becoming a thing.
Unless someone comes there for help. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's another interesting thing is like even like the time frame of seeing like all our characters at the end of the Rebels finale, like whether like you have Zeb over here or Hera over here, that doesn't necessarily have to be happening at the exact same time frame.
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I always assumed that it was, but
yeah,
sure, yeah, and like you would be right to do so, but like I think they also have that creative opening to like
definitely, yeah.
And I feel like that could also work if they wanted to do the type of Jason to train at Luke Academy if they wanted to, but also
Luke Academy is so far off from that point.
Yeah, it could be. But also
from the 5-year mark, after Rebels, it'd be like
how it gets to like time frame. Like, how old would you say Ben is when he's training with Luke before he ends up leaving it all? Would you say that's maybe 10 years before?
Yeah, I think Ben at that age, I think given from the Rise of Kylo Ren, he's about 12 years old, I think, right? So,
12 in the comic?
In the comic, right? Like, remember when
rip,
Ben?
Yeah.
No, like in the flashback though. Like, aren't you saying like when Ben first started there?
Oh, okay.
You're asking.
Yeah,
when he like in the flashbacks when he's
remember when he first encountered the Knights of Ren.
I'm trying to pinpoint to like if they want to do the whole training adaptation with Ben like to the finish versus like the start of it to the trade off of Jason's storyline if they wanted to.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Because like since you don't have a definitive start time of when Rebels ends to that point, you could choose wherever you want.
Yeah, but I mean it's still 30-year gap.
30-year gap, so long.
It does also lock in the age of Jason because it has to coordinate with Kanan's death. So never mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I think at this point in the show, I think they'll just say like Luke's just gone. Remember, he's just like looking for ancient Jedi stuff. So
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, I'm getting chills just thinking and brainstorming about this show because I'm super. This is my most anticipated Lucasfilm project outside of the High Republic right now. Like I'm really.
I hope they announce it soon.
Yeah, and of course Rian Johnson stuff, but like in terms of stuff that we don't know Rebels is coming, but we kind of do.
Yeah.
Like I'm super excited for this stuff. Just to see Ezra again. Ezra became, after rewatching the show, Ezra really became one of my top 10. Same thing for Kanan and Hera and Sabine. Like I love these characters so much.
Kanan's death might still be like
tears.
Like out of nowhere too. It's like all of a sudden you're like oh, like you're like stop. No.
I think
my whole Rebels rewatch, but I think I started up like immediately after Clone Wars ended. Like so many things were getting me emotional. Like obviously like Twilight Prince did, but like it was like really like the last few episodes of all of Rebels in season 4 that like I felt like every episode was like on the brink of tears because it was like Kanan's gone, World Between Worlds, and you got the whole finale itself. I'm just like, everything's
it was a lot. I remember I was crying mostly when Sabine came back, or the team came back from Kanan's death, and then Zeb's like, "Where's Kanan?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" Like, and like, and every time for death, it always gets me when somebody who doesn't know, does start to know, finds out. I'm like, "Oh no!" It happened like in the show Dexter, like a wife dies, and then the son's like, "Where's mommy?" I'm like, "Oh God, dang it, you're killing me here!" Like, it's the worst. I love Rebels, guys.
Like when they have to let Kanan go, like officially, and they like say goodbye.
Yeah, and they say goodbye in the sunset. Oh, in the score then? Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
Rebels is masterful, guys.
It really is. Kevin Kiner is a legend.
Yeah. In that season 4 soundtrack still isn't out, right?
No. I don't know why.
That's insane to me.
I need it.
Do they have Kevin
3 and 4?
Like
season 3 and 4 are out.
Is Kevin Kiner like locked in a prison cell or something?
So
it's criminal.
Criminal, yeah.
I don't know. Okay, but to touch on a last topic, I think I might throw this over to Evan to start because he really like introduced this to me yesterday. So it's being rumored that there isn't going to be a 2022 film.
Yes.
And that the 2024 film is going to be Taika Waititi's film, and the 2026 film will be for Rian Johnson, and that his trilogy is still set.
Yes, I'm trying to find their name. Yeah, okay, so it was LRM online on Twitter. I remember I was just scrolling through Twitter last week, and then Discussing Film had the tweet saying, like, Lucasfilm is still on for Rian Johnson's thing, and I've heard that so many times, so I'm like, let me see the source for this. Let me see what's really going on. And I go to the source, I go to their podcast where they introduce it, and they seem like pretty confident guys. They said they have a source within Lucasfilm telling them that the 2022 film is off, like Nathan was saying. They said mostly because of COVID. I think, they said like they were ready, but COVID kind of really strapped on. They don't want to rush afterwards. Which I think is a mixture of things. I think COVID is a issue there too. But I also think ever since the Taika news, I think they're like, and the Taika news became before COVID, right? I forget when the Taika thing was announced.
It might have been like on like the.
Was it March? Or
Wasn't it April? I thought it was April when the news came out.
I'm not sure.
Well,
it could have been April, but either way, I think COVID could have been an issue. But also, I think they were just starting to realize like it's 2020 and we don't have a director in place yet. That's kind of an issue. And they really need a big, high-name director that's going to get a lot of fans excited. And Taika Waititi is that. But you bring in Taika, and we automatically were all like, there's no way Taika can do a 2022 film, right? Because
if they haven't pinned it down, like, there's not really time. I mean, there's a time now with COVID and everything to, spend a year pinning down a good script versus rushing something into.
Yes,
if we're assuming they don't have it lined up already,
you would be rushing at this point because presumably if it was still coming in 2022, they would have had to be working on it in 2019 in terms of script.
At this point, they'd be on a Rise of Skywalker timeline.
Exactly. Which is not good.
We talked the Taika news like like the first week of May.
Oh wow, okay. So the COVID thing still it does seem forever ago, but the COVID thing is still an issue. But I think mostly they were just like it was getting up to the point where we're like we don't want to rush, we don't want another Rise of Skywalker situation. But again, this is just a rumor coming from an unnamed source. So the 2022 movie still could happen because there's still a lot of December. Or there's still a lot of 2022 movies that still can come out. Like Aquaman 2 is coming out in that same day, and they still haven't started work on Aquaman 2 yet. Like James Wan is doing Malignant, like post-production. So you never really know. I think 2022 still could happen, but it's very interesting that it couldn't. I think
that's so crazy. 2022 is fast. It's coming up. Like I remember thinking when they announced the Aquaman sequel of like 4 years. Oh my god! And it's already midway through 2020.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think would if they were to like keep those same dates? What do you think would do better, the Aquaman sequel or a brand new Star Wars project?
Aquaman overseas, definitely.
Because I mean, it made $1 billion.
Actually, so I would say Aquaman then. Because I think Aquaman has the overseas, and if they compete during domestically, they're both going to hurt each other. So, but I think since Aquaman has that foreign lead, then I think cumulatively Aquaman would probably get to $1 billion, and Star Wars would be like what 800, 900 million.
I wonder which one. It's like if it's a new kind of project, like does Star Wars move? I don't know. Like how
I always thought Star Wars would be the one to move.
Like
I thought Star Wars would be like okay,
because they gave up that 2018 date and then they let Aquaman slide in there. It's like I don't know.
Huge hit, yeah.
Huge, yeah.
That's why Warner Brothers wasn't moving. They're like, why should we move? Aquaman made more than Rise of Skywalker.
That's embarrassing.
Well, I feel like you could probably also check out the same situation of Civil War versus BVS. They were originally set for the same time. And why would Warner Brothers move when it's their two biggest powerhouse characters of all time?
Yep. And Marvel was like...
like Captain America is great and all, but like at the time, like, I don't know. Granted, it was at the height enough to have Cap versus Iron Man, and you do have Iron Man starring role, but still, it is Batman and Superman. But they were still worried enough to move.
I remember that too, because I was always like, Warner Brothers has to move because you can't beat just Robert Downey Jr. alone. Iron Man 3 made $1.3 billion.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think that especially helped coming off of like the big Avengers success.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Stark right now is like cash. Like you put Tony Stark in anything and it's $1 billion.
Print the money.
Especially
print the money. Yeah. Like you put him in Spider-Man, they made $1 billion or near $1 billion for Homecoming.
Did they make money?
Homecoming didn't. It made like 860 something million.
I think it made over 900, like 905 or something.
I don't think
and
so.
And then didn't far. I swear. I'm gonna pull it right now.
Look it up. Look it up. I'm pretty sure
looking it up.
I want to hear more stuff like this. Check out.
But yeah, so I think going back to Star Wars, I think Star Wars was in the iffy spot there. I think they were stuck between a rock and a hard place there. So I think
God.
What?
I'm mad at myself. 880 million.
I was close. 800.
Is that domestic or overall?
Overall. Yeah, domestic. 880 domestic.
Yeah, my bad.
Beating out. So yeah, I think Star Wars again. Unfortunately, after Rise of Skywalker, whether you like it or not, they are in a what's it called? I guess complicated spot.
They're one down. They're one down right now.
I mean, if you want to say like, I love Last Jedi, but press wise and social media wise, and everything like. You say Last Jedi, and we're like in the minority.
There's not like unwavering confidence.
Exactly. So yeah, and then you combine that with Solo, and then you combine that with Rise of Skywalker's. Like they really need a big hit, and that's why you bring in Taika Waititi, who a lot. I mean, it's hard to say somebody who dislikes Taika.
And let's actually discuss like what do you see a Taika Waititi Star Wars film being like? All we really have for a sense of him is for Star Wars is a 1 episode finale, which is great, but it's also kind of tied with other interconnected storylines.
Yeah, it's tied into Jon Favreau's overall vision. So it's like you can't.
Yeah, what does an original Taika film in the Star Wars universe look like? We also remember that he has a co-writer.
I wrote her name
1917 and Last Night in Soho.
Okay.
What's her name? Christy. I guess I didn't.
I almost said Golden, the other Star Wars author.
Yeah, I forgot the name. Yeah, Christy something, but she got Oscar nominated for 1917. Yeah.
Yep.
If you see how it pans out, like if you're trying to get an idea of like what this Star Wars Taika film is going to be, do you look more to Mandalorian, or would you look more to like the Thor films or like Jojo Rabbit or something?
I wouldn't. That's hard. I wouldn't say Thor, or I wouldn't say 1917.
Like,
do
you see this Star Wars film being pretty funny?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
If his what was the Hitler movie called again?
Jojo Rabbit.
If that was funny, if he made that funny, then Star Wars is definitely going to be funny.
Yeah, I will say Jojo Rabbit is pretty funny, but it also gets pretty emotional.
Yeah,
well.
emotional.
I agree.
I also
that's how all his films are.
I pitched that same thing, especially to Ragnarok. I know it's especially funny, but there is a lot of like heart underneath those moments when you look at it.
The father-son relationship, the brother relationship, his relationship with Tessa. I love all that stuff. So he's good at creating good character relationships. Whether you like the jokes or not, whether you think it's too funny, which Thor does go over the top sometimes.
Sure.
But
yes, it does.
That's mostly Marvel though. That's a Marvel thing.
That's also definitely.
If you want to see in terms of Mando, like you were saying, Nathan, I think that really defines Taika's understanding of how to get good comedy out of Star Wars. Like I think people didn't like Rian Johnson's humor in Last Jedi, but I totally liked it a lot. I didn't think
me too. Yeah.
It was over the top or anything. I think Taika really understands how
the campfire is
so good. Yeah, the campfire thing's great, and the leaf scene with Rey, I love that.
Oh, that's like the top. That's probably my funniest moment.
So good. But yeah, so I think Taika understands when to rein it in. I think he was talking to John about this. He was like, John's really good at reining me in terms of my comedy, my style, and I think it worked to perfection in Episode 8 Redemption. So I
just don't know who's gonna rein. I mean, I guess Kathy, but like
his writer, I think just himself. I think he learned. To be like.
And also, it'd be cool to see like where it's set to. Like, I feel like he'll probably have a sense of obligation to like not fit it to the puzzle piece, but like it kind of because he's done Mando and because like Nathan said that he had to like go on those pre-existing story threads. He knows how important it is to like rein it in and make something that's true to himself and Star Wars, which
I'm fully confident he's going to create something that's not too over the top.
And I would also I'll give credit, like even though I really enjoy the whole MCU, I know they run on a specific structure, and you don't always get the 100% director unless like you get like really deep like Guardians of the Galaxy. But I feel like Lucasfilm through their Mandalorian success, and I imagine Taika will probably work on Mandalorian some more, that they'll probably give that trust enough to let them have the reins to explore this brand new project that it is.
I'm with you. And as much as people say like Lucasfilm is a business corporation, whether we like it or not, they are kind of director vision. Like The Rise of Skywalker wasn't this hodgepodge of things. It was JJ's thing. It was JJ.
Yeah.
His opinions, whether you liked his opinions or not, I'm pretty sure JJ is a big enough director to be like, this is what I'm doing. And granted, I didn't like where JJ went with that story, but it wasn't like somebody was telling him like, hey, JJ, Rey has to be a Palpatine. Like, I don't think I think that was what he really wanted, actually. And same for like Colin Trevorrow. So
I actually found it funny. I saw this connection like somebody made that ironically, like I think my favorite scene in all of Rise of Skywalker is the Han Solo scene.
Me too. Yeah.
But it's also funny because somebody had pointed out that one of Terrio's previous works was for Batman Superman, like the exact
father and son thing.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wait, hold on, did Terrio write that scene? I don't know if he like wrote the dialogue, but did he write that scene?
I think it's fully on board with that too. Yeah. I do like that moment in BVS too when Clark's talking.
Yeah, I do too. I like it.
I can't.
Something about flooding horses and chocolate cake.
I like the scene, but I don't really know what they're talking about. It's a good emotional beat.
At the same time, the Rise of Skywalker scene is an echo of.
It's a total echo. It's just basically the same line.
If anything, you're just taking the best of Kasdan.
Yeah.
You're just skinning it with BVS stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that's a good point. Yeah, the BBS thing is like
what an analogy.
Clark, do what you got to do, or whatever. It's really weird. But yeah, I'm fully in terms of characters too. I think Taika knows to get weird in the right way in terms of characters. Like, I don't think we're gonna have a white brunette female as the lead.
Right.
Maybe a female lead, but I don't think she's gonna be like looking like Daisy, Amelia, or
no. I hope we get at least a co-lead that's an alien.
I think so
love
too.
That.
I tweeted out like we could have an alien lead, but alien co-lead works too.
Yeah, something like, and again, I love Chewie, but something that's like a next step.
Yeah,
right. Where it's like the face isn't totally like indecipherable.
Do you have the alien speak English or not? Because that's kind of the thing they brought up in the last episode of the Doc as well.
So originally,
funny. Originally Queel was supposed to speak not basic. Right. Everybody, it was just like a dude in a mask, and you had Jawa to Ugnaught, and it's like
he was speaking like a pig. He's like,
and even Filoni is like, "Is this what you do in live action?" Like, no.
It was so funny because Filoni is like, or John's like, "I'm so happy you didn't say anything, Filoni." Filoni's like, "I just thought it's what they do in live action," but it's so funny because he had a Queel being like, "Ha ha." I think it was like Drew Bradley Baker from the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
and that was too funny. But yeah, like we're saying,
it could be a Guardians of the Galaxy situation.
Like Guardians.
Like the.
I think
that's a good example.
James had explained like they are all speaking different alien languages, but it's just normal to us. Like
yes,
because it's just like a translation in your own brain.
But also Guardians in terms of like the teams too, like or not the teams, but the characters. Like you have a talking raccoon, a tree, a green alien. Like I think that's what we're going to get in Taika's film too. There's a lot of
it's a mix,
a mix of weird and indigenous, like a lot of these different creatures, and that can be very different and unique and cool.
And I wonder if I'm sure he'll explore some of that in like the ideals of that in Thor: Love and Thunder, especially when you're picking up Thor from the Guardians themselves.
Definitely.
Well, if do you have anything more?
Yeah, I'm done. But I was like to say, leading into Ryan's thing, like, is it going to be connected to Ryan's possible new movies? Because the LRM also said like Lucasfilm is still trusting in Ryan, or still has faith in Ryan, and they are still wanting to work with him for the 2026 movie, which would be 9 years after The Last Jedi.
I'd be shocked after the success that Knives Out had, and probably Knives Out 2, that they wouldn't trust them.
I agree. I mean, Disney loves like recent popular people, like Brie
Larson
won an Oscar. Here's Brie Larson.
And he already made them $1 billion as well on the project.
He made one of the most successful movie of 2017. Yeah.
Okay, so like in that function, if Taika's was to connect to Ryan, does that say Taika starts Ryan's trilogy, or that Ryan's trilogy starts after Taika?
I think the first one or second one.
Second one.
I think Ryan starts after Taika. Like I don't think they're going to be connected. Actually,
yeah, I don't think so either. But if they were, I think the likely scenario is Taika directs Ryan's script of the first one.
Okay, which could be interesting.
Which would already be kind of weird because they already have like a co-writer for Taika's thing,
right? Which is like that's what throws it off the scent for me. Is like they already have a co-writer.
But at the same time, I know Ryan can do great things with the middle chapter, as we see with Last Jedi.
Totally great point. So I think they're going to make it like because they're already kind of talking about this in terms of the films being connected but not connected, like kind of like the MCU. Like you have your own vision, Ryan, you have your own thing, but they're also in the same era. That could work.
Right. Yeah. And this will be in the new era, whatever era they choose to go in the movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of Star Wars is like, even though you can have so many different stories set in certain time frames, you don't have to watch every individual thing to like lead up to an event or anything. It like you can pick and choose your own stories in this universe, and there's references and stuff to other stories that you can explore if you choose.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is the beauty of Star Wars. Yeah, like you said, I love that, and I'm just happy if this is true that Disney is
still
allowing Ryan. Yeah, still going forward with this, still allowing Ryan to do Knives Out 2, and then still have time to think about his trilogy. Still to have. Yeah. I mean, he's been thinking about it for a long time. I'm assuming, but to put pen to paper.
I'm sure there's a script done. I think.
Wow.
Yes, I think he's done with the
Really?
script. With number one, at least more than an outline for sure.
Yeah.
Because
I think an outline at most.
especially because he had they first had him and Ram, working on it, doing a lot of stuff and going into Lucasfilm offices, on the days where they weren't doing Knives Out stuff. So
that's a good point.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm very excited for Knives Out 2. When do you guys think Knives Out 2 could come out? Like, would that be 2020?
When did Knives Out 1 come out?
Just last year, so 2019.
November.
It was like around November, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah, I think it did because it was like kind of around my birthday. It was like
I'm gonna say November 2022, even though I know there's probably a huge movie there that I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So you don't think 2021?
I think
actually,
I don't know what's going on November 2022, but I think November 2022 makes the most sense. 2021 seems so soon. They would have to start filming now,
right?
Or in the fall, which because of COVID, I doubt.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Even though some films are going back for, like Dune is going back for reshoots in August.
Reshoots.
When does Death on the Nile come out? Because I doubt they want to.
October, November. I can't remember which one.
Of this year?
Yeah.
No, yeah. What year? This year?
This year.
Wow. This year? So that already filmed.
Yes. Kenneth Branagh just did an interview about it.
Much this year.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
I
still
forgot about that movie. Wow. Okay.
Gal's in it.
Can't
remember who else.
Kenneth Branagh's.
Kenneth Branagh's in it. Yeah, he's directing.
I can't remember anybody that's in it other than Gal and randomly Russell Brand. I think is in it.
Russell Brand still doing stuff. Interesting.
I guess.
So yeah, I think Knives Out could possibly, at the earliest, come out in 2022. I think that's what he's probably targeting, especially if you look at the filming date, the production date of or timetable of the first one. That took 2 months or maybe just a month.
Whatever I need to do to get Adam Driver in a sweater.
Yes,
that'll be awesome.
I'll be curious to see, how John Wick originally came out in a random month. I can't remember when it was, like a February or something, and then eventually they moved up to a May date.
Yeah, no, I remember because I saw it. John Wick 1 came out in October, which was so crazy because they dropped their first ever trailer within a month of the time frame.
They sure did.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Yeah, I went to go see it in IMAX and it was great. And then I think John Wick 2 came out in around February.
February, I remember going to John Wick 2, and then May for John Wick 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a definitive blockbuster now, which is great.
Which, given the success of Knives Out, I would not be surprised if studios all right, counter programming to every giant movie coming out. Knives Out 2.
I will take Keanu Reeves and Adam Driver as a father-son duo in Knives Out.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Give me that.
I would much rather go to Knives Out. Sequel than have to go to Jurassic World Dominion.
Ooh, thanks for bringing that up.
Well, we didn't touch on it yesterday, but the spy guy from the opening of Jurassic Park is going to be.
Oh yeah, which weird, but okay.
I'm okay. I totally forgot the guy.
I'm the only one who's oh, cool connection.
Pretty cool.
Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian.
But
yeah, I think
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
just
think
Ryan being involved in anything is super exciting for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that about takes care of our show for today.
I think so.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good because it turns out when you talk a lot, you get hungry. So
yeah.
I should probably.
I'm pretty dang hungry too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just made a setup to get some food, so I'm gonna be doing that. But from all of us here at Hyperspace Life, we had a very enjoyable time discussing all the things. I was very relieved that there was no real Star Wars news dropping today because that's a lot every time, and I would have had to change the thumbnail. So we definitely had a fun time here. We're definitely gonna be coming back every Friday, normally around 8 o'clock. This was a fluke, probably, hopefully. But with that being said, Carson worked.
I wonder what happened.
You guys can find me on Twitter at The Force Critic and not on the stream on time because I'm very bad at that and I'm sorry. And I will try to be more consistent for our audience. Anyways, great time today. And hopefully these rumors, I love just talking about Ryan mentioned in the same sentence as Star Wars again. And, if it means one step getting his coffee table book and the next he's coming back to the movies, then that's all I need. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start going live at 7:35 p.m. so that I can give them some time to get here around 8. That being said, Evan, where can they find you?
It would just be a shot of like Carson's couch. Carson wouldn't even be
Yeah,
there.
I'll just do like one of those Zoom backgrounds where it's just empty.
It's like in Carson.
I mean, you can apply that with the green screen. Just turn your fade to 100.
Yep, there we go.
Wow, that'd be weird. But yeah, you guys can find me on Harris EV9 on Twitter. I just finished The Last of Us Part 2 last night at like 3:30 a.m. I was a bucket of tears. It was a masterpiece of a game. I absolutely loved it. So you can see me on Twitter there gushing about Last of Us and also all things Star Wars as well. Like Carson, I'm always excited to hear about Rian Johnson and Star Wars in the same sentence. And hopefully, I mean, by the time his movie comes out, people probably would get over The Last Jedi, maybe, hopefully. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but yep.
But yeah, you can also find me just starting The Last of Us with pre-recorded gameplays over here, and you can find
Nice.
where I'll probably do a very failed attempt of hooking up a PlayStation.
Oh, that's so cool.
Thing.
I can't wait to watch your playthrough, man.
I hope that goes viral. That'd be so cool.
A lot of them have.
I can honestly just make a hoax video of it actually functioning.
Please do.
But yeah, with that being said, you can find all of us, including me, in social medias linked in the description below. And we, again, will be coming back every Friday or so. I'm going to start getting back into reacting to a bunch of different shows, including replacements of existing slots like since Clone Wars had ended. Probably going to jump into Resistance and other types of shows. It'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to do a Resistance review. I still never reviewed. We got to get Nathan to watch it so then we can review it all together.
Yeah.
Well, I actually found that, ironically, I think I'm actually going to officially be back to this setup. So I'm probably going to chill here in front of my TV and then just like binge record a bunch of stuff so I can just edit.
Heck yeah.
We can just talk freely whenever. So we'll definitely get into that. And then next week you will find us being interrupted by our cats again. And
yes, I'm literally throwing a toy as we speak.
She's like sitting right under.
He plays fetch. We got a dog. I have discovered.
I mean, I think that works with any cat as long as you have something that's like a squeaky mouse type.
Yep.
Yeah, with that being said, if you did enjoy our podcast, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already. That being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the